to do a quick lesson on setting up particles to simulate splashes and wake for a boat as requested by a user in the Real Illusion forums. I've already added the boat, the water, and the sky. I believe he wanted a little bit of a storm. I have positioned the boat, I've spun it around. Once you add the water, you can get Once you've added the water, you can figure out what direction it's pointed in. You can change that direction if you want to. I have done so, and we're going to look real quick. You can see it's moving against the boat. I've positioned the boat so that the water is going against it. The boat itself is not going to move in this video. What I will do is simply move the camera to simulate the motion, and that with the water going against the boat will make the boat look like it's moving. So the boat's not actually moving, but it will look like it in the end. So having said that, in the previous video that I uploaded, I used one of the legacy particles that you should have as a default in iClone. You shouldn't have to purchase it. It's called Wave. I'm going to double click it. It should come in at 0, 0. You won't be able to see anything. See right there, you can't see anything. I'm going to zoom in on it because it is it's hidden. There's the prop itself. So here you can see it. Now what I'm going to do, we want it at the back of the boat because it's the wake. So I'm going to pull it back. Make sure you're at the beginning of your timeline. Otherwise it will move around a little bit. So I'm going to drop it down. Here it is. Drop it down to the water level. And we'll try that. We'll hit play. Now, did you see it start to move? I did. I'm not sure why that is. But it wants to go back to 0, 0. The way that I'm going to fix this, I'm going to right click it and remove object animation. Now, there we go. Now it should be fine. It's staying in place, but it doesn't look like it's doing anything. Let's see what's going on with that. We'll hit play. Okay, so it's going back through the boat is the problem. We need to spin it around. I'm going to do that. I'm going to right click. And if you go over here, we see the rotation is probably going to need to be 180. And then I'm going to drop it back down to the water. Let's see if it moves again. Now what's happening here is that it's actually under the water, which is why we're not seeing it. Pull it up a little bit. There, that's a little better. Pull it up a little more. X. Let's see here. And there we go. So now that's how I created the wake in that video. All right, it's not perfect. You can find other ones, like I mentioned, the popcorn particles has a nice wake effect. This is just a very rudimentary one that you could do with things that you already own. So that's how I put the wake in. Now we're going to look at, when I did the splash, again, I used a free legacy particle. The one that I used was Waterfall. So we'll go to Waterfall, and we're going to take a look at it. There it is. It's coming from up high like a waterfall, right? Let's see if we can pull it out from the center. See if I can see it. We're going to turn it on, scene, turn the visibility on. By the way, turn off the visibility of your wave so the prop doesn't show. So anyway, let's see if we can, there it is right there. Now, Waterfall has the two things. There's the bar here where the water's coming from, and then the water flows down to where your little visibility prop is, as such. See that? But what we want it to be at the bow of the ship and then just giving us a little bit of spray. And so what I did with this is we go to rotate, I pull it down till the bar is just above the water. And then I'm going to move it so that the bar itself, the little green bar, is right at the front of the boat. About right there. Okay, let's see how that looks. And there you go. Pretty simple little effect to give you make it look like basically the water is splashing up from the boat as it travels. So now we've got a little bit of splash, and you've got the wake traveling behind. Now, one of the ones that you purchased that we discussed was Biggstrek's splash effect. And I'm going to very quickly go into that and show you that right now. I purchased the medium splash effect in the past. I believe it's a prop. They're not under the particles. He puts them together with multiple particles as props. The question is where. I believe he just leaves it right under the template. You could always search, use the search to good effect, although it takes a little while. But if we put in splash, hopefully it will come up. Let's take a look. The search is going faster than normal. And there it is, medium splash. If you want to see where it is, you could go to Find File by right-clicking on it, and it will show you. It's sitting right there under Props. Okay. For now, we're going to turn the waterfall. We're going to deactivate it. Okay. The wake we'll leave on, but the waterfall is going to be off. Okay. So going back to our content, here's the medium splash prop. I've got it. I'm going to bring it up here to about the bow of the boat. A little to the side, like so. And like I said, with this, it's a dummy. See how it's set as dummy, but you should be able to see the red box that outlines the dummy. So there you go. The way that he puts a lot of his particles together is he uses a perform motion. So if I right click on the dummy, you will see perform and splash. And there it is right there. Let's see. I'm not as familiar with all of his, but see, he's got multiple particle effects that are all put together. If you want to deactivate some of them, you can do that simply by hitting deactivate here. So for instance, perhaps the ring and the ripple are not as necessary to you, and so I've deactivated them there. And now we should just get the splash. Now it happens once, and then let's have it happen again. We right click, perform. Oops, sorry. See, I'm not under the main one. You got to be under the main one. Medium splash dummy. Right click, perform, splash. That's twice. And then let's go to a third one, and we're going to right click, perform, splash. Okay. So there we go. Now we have it 3 times. The final thing would be to add a camera. In this case, I've already done so, and I'll show you what the camera does. I believe it's on. Here I'm in the preview camera. The camera's right here. And so as we watch that camera, it just comes towards the boat, trying to give the boat the illusion of motion. And if we turn on that camera, here we are. And see, the boat looks like it's moving against the water. You've got the wake and you've got the splash. Now you could use Biggstrek splash, you could use the waterfall splash, whichever one you might find more effective. The last thing I would consider adding, because you wanted a storm, would be rain. And very easily, there's lots of rain effects in the particles, in the legacy particles that should be default. You don't have to pay for them. And let's take a look. I believe it's right under the main, yeah, rain right there. This is one of them. There might even be more than one. And I believe it's a little small. See how it's not showing up on the edge? And so what you would want to do there, the way that you can adjust this particular particle, where we have it open, scene, it's here, rain. If you scroll down, this is how you move the actual thing, but you don't want to move it, we want to make it bigger. And so we're going to scroll down to the particle attributes. These are the individual particles, but then in the emit settings, we're going to change the volume from 2000, we're going to change it to 7000 on both the X and Y, and let's see if that works. That should be good. Yeah, now we've got rain that extends a little bit more. Might even be better if we extend the Z, 1, 2, 3. Oh no, that's going to be just height. That won't actually do anything. But there you go. That's using three different particles to do the work there. So hopefully that's helpful. Just post in the thread if you have any questions. Okay, thank you.